Talking about the Africa Cup of Nations, right? The games played last night. Cote d'Ivoire and Algeria. It was a huge fight. 7 yellow cards, 58 fouls that were committed. That's the most, 58 or 53. That's the most.
You can be forgiven if you thought it was rugby. You can be forgiven.
That's how rugged it was. But then it was Wilfred Bonny missing a penalty and all that. Another player also died, right? Seri died. Also, I mean, sports.
The captain on the night.
Captain on the ninth and all that, hitting the post. At the end of the day, Algeria won on penalties 4-3. So it simply means Nigeria, Algeria will be meeting again. Madagascar, fairy tale run, ending. Tunisia having to, first time it was goalless. I mean, this is not a reflection of the game. You talked about the fact that sometimes you see Scotland, the one they were well beaten. But then the Malagasy were not well beaten in this game because they played their heart out. But it just wasn't to be on the day. You can see pictures coming from that game, how, the Algerians were able to get something out of the Ivorians. Because I was thinking, with the way the Ivorians started, they should have been able to at least hit the post, the woodwork several times. I know that Wilfred Bonny also wasn't in the game, but I don't know why he played the whole minutes and also missing the penalties and everything.
It's tough. Like they say, on a day things want to go bad. I mean, you just won't be able to explain. Like a friend of mine said, a colleague of ours really, told me this morning that he feels for the Ivorians. I do too. And personally, I would have loved us to play against the Ivorians because it's a lot easier. You just muzzle each other out. Yeah. But talking about this game, the Algerians, I think they deserve to win. I feel for the Ivorians, not because they deserve to win, but because I felt they put in effort, But the Algerians, I think they also lost a penalty, in the game. So on the balance of it all, you want to think that the Algerians, if they had lost, will have felt bad. They put in more. They had better chances, but it was always close. Better luck next time. Now we know where our foes will be. We know the kind of preparation that we need to have. I thought it was going to be that was the moment. Yeah. That was the moment where it dawned on them. They lost his penalty, and of course, it meant that the Algerians are through to the semis. I don't have too good memories of Nigeria against Algeria. I mean, growing up, my baptism into football, one of the horrible nights that I hate remembering, Algiers 90. First game, young lad watching football, and saw those guys, Rabamaja and co, decimated Super Eagles 5-1. And even in the final, they also still beat us 1-0. We've grown a lot since then. And in stature, you could say.
Remember the last qualifiers, at least we beat them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And in stature, I said my baptism into football.
Into football,
so
right?
I still remember like it was yesterday.
The pain is still fresh.
It's still fresh. So when we play them, I always remember that. So I'm cautiously optimistic. And when you talk about North Africans with all their tricks and all of those things, when you want to bury them, dig deep. And bury them and ensure that they're not, because you don't want to do what you did against South Africa, score 1 goal, and you don't do that against the Algerians. But if we can quickly go back to Madagascar, hopefully we'll link up with our friend, the Super Eagles media officer, if he's able to join us. But I mean, talk about this. This is a loss, but it still feels like a win for these guys because nobody expected them to be here at all. Nobody expected them. Even when they beat Nigeria, a lot of people were thinking, what's happening here? What's happening here? And they did it against the DRC. I mean, that was a high point for me. And in this one, you could feel that those goals that they considered in their bid to get the equalizer, they started opening up. And their strength was always how well they defended. And now that they considered the goal, the dynamics of the game changed. They had to come out. And in the process, of course, an experienced side like Tunisia will punish you. And it's not as if Tunisia have really lit up the space.
They haven't.
This is the first game they're winning in regulation time. But in every encounter at the knockout phase, there's always going to be a winner. And it turned out to be the Cardiff Eagles of Tunisia. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how far they can go. A very downcast coach right there. But of course, they belong to Algeria. But we'll see how far they can go when they play the next opponent in the semis.
Absolutely. Just look at the CAF president there. Amanda Man, the president of Madagascar, also he was also there, just watching. At the end of the day, they collected 3 and they had to go home. That's it. We'll just take a look at the semi-finals, what it's looking like right now. I mean, it's all set and settled. It's going to be on Sunday, and the first game is going to be between Senegal and, of course, Tunisia, while the second game will be between Nigeria and Algeria. So there you have it. Yeah, right.
What does it tell you? 2 teams from West Africa
and 2 teams from North Africa.
From North Africa.
North and West.
That's
so
where that's the powerhouse of football in Africa, the North.
What happened to Kosafa? Nothing coming out.
Well, they huff and puff. Really do not go far. We'll see what happens.
But did you expect that? I mean, we're going to have something like this in the semis.
I wasn't.
These are the countries you expected to be here.
No.
Okay, you expected Egypt to be here.
Yes, expected Cameroon to be here.
Oh, really? So Cameroon should have been in Nigeria, right? Okay, no, we would have.
They will have
our group.
Different routes.
Okay, fine.
Different routes. and I expected Ghana as well.
Ghana.
So my 4 would have been Egypt, Nigeria, Ghana, Cameroon.
Okay.
That would have been my 4.
Okay.
But football has taught us many lessons, so we learned.
So Senegal wasn't even part
Wasn't.
of it. Okay.
Wasn't. They have players. Collective as a team, they have good players, but as a team, they really haven't. It's working for them in this tournament, but you could see that they are not really.
Maybe
their potential
needs more time to.
Yes,
actually...
they have more potential than they are showing.
Okay, that's
what I feel. They have more potential than they're showing.
Yeah,
they are better than what we're currently seeing.
Yeah, you're actually talking like Clarence Seedorf. That was what they said about Nigerian team before we actually faced them. You know, he talked about the fact that Nigeria's got the potential. They've not really seen the strength of the Super Eagles in the game until they met Cameroon, and they actually showed them the
we stepped it up against them.
We beat them. Just remarkable. All right, but it's going to be against Algeria on Sunday, and hopefully 8 p.m. Nigerian time. It's going to be in the night and all that. So we hope the morning after is going to be sweet. Now, pictures coming from Lyon in France, where the fans, Algerian fans watching the game, you know, they were in high spirits and all. The ups and downs of the game, the cards, the penalties and everything, just watching and anticipating what's going to happen. And at the end of the day, they got the best of it, and jubilation and celebration that followed. That was when they actually missed that penalty and all that. They didn't score. At the end of the day, I just look at the face of the fans. Imagine you're actually in their shoes, you're watching outside, just hoping and praying that the team can win. And that was after the last penalty shootout.
Looking at these Tunisians, it reminds me of Nigeria. We say a lot of things about the Super Eagles. I'm not interested. I'm not going to watch. But it's not true. It's patriotism. Just when you want to, you know, not want to feel patriotic. Just when you want to say, look, I'm a dispassionate football analyst. I'm a very objective sports journalist, then it creeps up on you. It creeps up on you. And just look at these fans, this sweet taste of victory, the joy that comes from celebration. You could see it from the Algerians. Algerians, not in Algeria, elsewhere. but you know, the blood runs in their veins anywhere. They are just the same way you see Nigerians anywhere they are come out to support our national teams anywhere they're playing. And at this point, having gotten this far, you know, any of the teams in the semi-final can win. So, I mean, as a Nigerian, you would want Nigeria to win. As a Nigerian, you want Nigeria to win. But any of these teams that are here can win. So we'll see how far the Algerians can go. But of course, you can't deny them this. It came in a way that will make you appreciate victory, because it was just a second or two away from a loss. Once you are in that kind of situation, you appreciate victory, because it's a very small margin. Absolutely. Very, very small margin. It could have gone either way. The way the Ivorians lost theirs, if the Algerians have lost theirs, it was going to be a different story entirely. Absolutely, and they're having their best run since 1988 and 1990. They had another good run, but this time in this competition, they've had 4 wins and 2 draws. So that's a remarkable one for the fans, and also the fact that they've not been here since 2010 and all that, not been able to make it to the last 4. So getting this far is huge celebration. I mean, when I saw the pictures, I was like, okay, this is not the final. You're not in the final yet. It's just making it to the semi-final. But I think for some of these fans and all that, getting this far is already a victory for them already. It is. It is. Getting this far, I mean, when last did they get to this kind of position? And you know how disappointed the fans were when the so-called golden generation, Yassin Brahimi, Riyad Mahrez, Slimani, Ben Taleb, all of these guys, they expected that they were going to qualify for the World Cup, and they didn't. You know, they were disappointed. And you talked about it yesterday, how they were changing coaches. It was just getting out of fashion, changing coaches anyhow. But now some stability seems to have crept in, and consistency. I mean, you see Algeria player, you see Yassin Brahimi on the bench, Slimani on the bench, some good players in Europe that didn't make this team. So I mean, you can't speak against any fan who thinks that they can win this tournament.
But how difficult is it going to be for us facing them? Because we saw how they played. You talked about the fact that it was more like a rugby game. We were thinking it's a rugby match. 58 fouls committed, 7 yellow cards. Man.
You see, I'll be more afraid of Algeria if they don't come out to play. You see, if they come out to play, we're going to muscle them. It's always easy. We're physical. But if they just keep us in front of the ball, I'll be afraid. Because one free kick, one corner, they always remind me of the South Americans. Tricks. Somebody just allows you to push them down. They take a free kick, something they've practiced so well in training. They just want to, it's a goal. And I'm sorry to say, we have a goalkeeper that I think has butterfingers. So, you know, all of those things make me fear. But if they come out to play, if they go toe-to-toe with the Super Eagles, we're going to win. But if it's down to some of these sneaky tactics and all that, they don't even have the strength to lock up shop. They don't have the physicality. But what I'm saying is that if they just leave us in front of the ball, just block all the spaces. Not trying to muscle us, but just ensure. You know, there are times your opponents have the ball, they can't do anything with it. You know, it's all down to tactics. But we'll see. I just hope that don't get too hard on their star players because of red cards. Just don't get too hard on Riyad Mahrez. I mean, I know the Oyinbo Wall handled both guys, Slimani and Mahrez, when they came in the qualifiers. We can do it again. We can rely on the experience from that game. But like I said, I'll be afraid of them if they allow us to have the ball.
That's the thing, because I was thinking about the fact that with the VAR and all that, it seems VAR is concerned about when a goal is scored, offside and all that. We have not really seen it, you know,
for major calls.
For major calls and all that, because we saw what they did to their variants, and it wasn't good at all, but we didn't see such calls. So with our players, you know, tendency to make mistakes and all that, maybe penalty areas, handball and everything. And
handling the ball.
I mean, I'm just afraid they might just set, maybe... you talked about their tricks. Maybe kind of set a trap.
Booby trap, yeah.
Booby trap for the Eagles, and they fall on it.
Yeah, it's part of football. You know, they say all is fair in war. All is fair. There's nothing like negative tactics in football. As long as it wins you the game. There's nothing like... We saw Jose Mourinho, when he came to England, told his players, give the ball away when they kick the ball out. We see them do it. Because there's no rule that says when somebody kicks the ball out, when you are doing it's fair play. But if you don't do it, the ref can penalize you. So all is fair in war. Nobody can say, you know, but I hope that we don't fall for their tricks.
We won't fall for it.
Because it will take tricks to beat the Super Eagles. But if they go toe-to-toe...
Can we beat them 2-0?
I think we can. I think we can.
2-0?
I think we can, yeah.
2-0, right?
I think we can.
Okay.
I think we can.
All right, we need to go on a break now. We'll come back. We'll be looking at some transfer news and also some teams that are actually preparing for the preparing for the kickoff of the league. Most of them in pre-season.